What's up? This is BestNet TV. I'm with your boy John Domando, and welcome to my channel, everybody. For those of you guys who are new and you guys don't know about me, let me tell you a little bit about me. So, I'm just a guy who really likes languages, so to speak. Like, I like basically everything there is about languages, like the science behind them, speaking, connecting with people through language, all that stuff, and that kind of goes hand in hand with another thing that I like, which is travel. I really like traveling. Like, to date, I've been to about, I want to say, 4 different countries. Yeah, 4 different countries. I've been to, like, I have had my passport since I was like 3 years old. So I've been to, my first trip overseas was Belgium. I've been to Belgium a couple of times, France, Canada. I used to live in Canada, and Mexico. So I've been to a lot of different places. So now, luckily for me, a lot of the places that I've gone to, like, not that a lot of them, English was a really big language that was spoken there. Okay, so almost everybody in those places that I went spoke English. Now, granted, in Mexico, when I went to Mexico, people spoke English there because it was mostly a touristy area. So, but it won't always be like that, you know? So, hence, that's why I'm here. For example, France, some places in France, nobody speaks English. Same with Belgium. So, I want to prepare either people who like to travel for leisure, people who like to travel for business, people like to travel for whatever reasons, or people who just like languages like me. I want to be able to prepare people or help people or motivate people to start learning languages so that they can have an easier time when they travel, when helping somebody do whatever, when you're helping somebody here or you go over there, blah, 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 all those stuff. So essentially, my channel is mostly going to be built around that and sort of some things that I use to learn languages, some methods that I use to learn languages, and just everything that has to do with that. So now I'm gonna film a lot more videos of me talking to random strangers in their languages, but unfortunately I'm not able to do that right now, obviously. So when I am able to do that, trust me, like it's gonna be crazy. Like, trust me, and I know you guys are gonna like it too. So just look out for that. All right, so without further ado, let me just get into it. So, for those of you guys who like to travel, or for those of you guys who are planning on relocating in another country or whatever, it's going to come down to it. And there's going to be a point where you guys are going to want to, obviously, or there's going to be a point where you guys are going to want to make relationships with people. Now, whether that's a friendship, business relationship, or a romantic relationship, like, it doesn't matter. Like, either way, eventually we're going to want to do that. Like, that's just how we are as humans. So, and unfortunately, especially when you go to a country where, like I said, English isn't spoken, you're going to have a hard time speaking with people if you don't know the language. So sometimes people tell me things like, oh, yo, I'm just going to wait till I go there to start learning the language. And it's like, yeah, that's cool. But, you're going to want to take advantage of all the time that you got. Like say you got a trip in 6 months to Portugal. And so you wait 6 months to learn Portuguese. And then when you go there, it's like you're struggling, like, why not just give yourself an advantage by starting to learn it now, and then 6 months later you'll be decent at it. You'll know a couple sentences, you'll know how to ask people for directions, get around, all that stuff. So just give yourself an advantage. Now, back to friendships or relationships. If you're planning on staying somewhere long term, like, eventually you're gonna form relationships with people, and that's also another way that's really useful when it comes to learning languages. Find somebody, because if you find a friend in whatever country you're in, and you tell them that you're really really passionate about learning this language, and they're really gonna correct you. You know, like they're really gonna get into you, like make sure your whatever accent is proper, your whatever, all that stuff. You know, not like because a lot of times people will just say, "Oh, you're really good," when you're not super good, and it's not that they're being disingenuous, but they want to continue to motivate you to keep learning. They don't want to be like, "Oh yeah, you're not very good," even though some people will do that. But that's yeah, I've experienced some of that. But yeah, like if you got a friend, it's obviously it's not gonna offend you unless you're really sensitive, but you shouldn't be. Like you shouldn't be afraid to be making mistakes at the end of the day. So they're really gonna get into you to make sure everything about the way you're speaking is perfect, so to speak. And obviously, so another thing, when it comes to traveling primarily for business purposes, let's say that actually no, let's start it here. Let's say you're going to a country and you want to find cheap apartments. Now it's going to be hard to bargain with people, let alone it's going to be hard to even find some of the best deals if you don't know the language, if you don't know how to read the language, or if you if you don't know have connections with people. Basically, it's going to be really hard for you to find like cheap apartments, cheap everything. So learning the language will really give you an advantage in that sense. And not only that, when it comes down to it, when it comes down to going to the place, you'll be able to bargain, because sometimes people don't want to deal with you because they don't know how to communicate with you. It's not because they're mean, it's just that they don't know how to communicate what their thoughts are with you, so they'll kind of just stay away from you in a way. But if you know the language, not only is it intriguing, but and if you're just a charming person, charismatic person, like people really they're gonna want to help you in whatever way that they can, because that's kind of how, or at least good people, that's how good people are, like everywhere. Like they see good people and they want to lift them up. Not to mention, if there's like business opportunities, like investment opportunities, and wherever you are, like for example, in let's say in Thailand, like there's a rental property for sale or something, like, or an apartment complex for sale. Like usually you're not going to know that unless you have connections with people who speak Thai or are in the real estate market in Thai. So like I said, like building those relationships, those really really come in handy, especially if you're planning on staying long term and doing business in certain places. So just keep that in mind. And lastly, relationships. Now if you're traveling with your boyfriend or girlfriend, then obviously this doesn't apply to you. But if you're traveling long term by yourself, or just with some friends, then who knows, maybe you guys are going to want to find a relationship in whatever country that you're in. Now, what's advantageous about this is there's things called language exchange, which you guys should know. Like it's like, for example, there's a lot of people in a lot of foreign countries like that, their English skills are good enough to communicate, but that's about it. You'll communicate for very basic purposes. So for example, so like when you meet people like in the streets or at whatever, at social outings, things like that, it'll kind of be this sense where it's like, once you guys are slowly starting to get to know each other, it's like you're handing her bits and pieces of your language and she's doing the same with you. It's like a mutual beneficial relationship. Not to mention, when it comes to language learning and relationships, one thing that's really important about relationships that you already know is communication, obviously. So it's going to be really difficult to be able to communicate with a partner who doesn't understand the language that you speak. And obviously that your ability to be able to speak, or their ability to be able to speak whatever language, can build over time, but you know, it's limited when you don't know how to speak, you know, just off the gate. So that's another benefit of learning languages. You know, it's like that instant kind of connection. It's like you're from this faraway place, but you come and then it's like boom, like the world is so much smaller than these people thought. So that's really a really cool feeling. And obviously, if you're planning on, you know, getting married, you know, with like things, all a bunch of legal stuff about marriage, like you got to make sure like you know all the jargon and stuff when it comes to that, in especially in these different countries, because every country has different laws on marriage. Like for example, I believe in the Philippines they don't have divorce. They don't have divorce. Like it's like if you're married, you're married, I guess. So that's interesting. That's something you should keep in mind when it comes to relationships. And you know, if you're, yeah, just like meeting just meeting chicks, you know, like it's like meeting women. Like I'm a guy, so you know, like men at the end of the day, we like meeting beautiful women. Like, you know, have you know, us men at the end of the day, we just like meeting beautiful women, you know, at the end of the day. So, and it's also one of a really big motivator when it comes to learning languages as well. So and if anybody who tells you that's like bad, it's just like whatever. Just they're allowed to think what they think, but at the end of the day, if you're motivated by that and it's for a good cause, at the end of the day, just go for it. You know, just go for it. But anyways, with that being said, that's all that I got for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. This one's a little different from what I usually do, but hope you guys really enjoyed it. Hope you guys learned something from it. You know, if you guys like it, make sure you guys share it. You know, check out my other channel if you're interested in travel and things like that. John Domondo. I'm gonna leave the link in the description for that. Make sure you guys share this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that stuff. So, yeah, without further ado, this is your boy John Domondo, and yeah, Mondo out.